Hello, everyone, and welcome to COPICafe episode 44. I'm Rob Gregg, co-CEO of Cornucopias, and this is Josh Jones, the other co-CEO. We're also the two founders of Cornucopias, along with two others, and Jeff. We're a huge open-world AAA MMORPG Web3 metaverse game with a player-driven economy. And on today's show, we're going to talk to you about what's going on behind the scenes of Cornucopias, give you some updates and all kinds of important information. We have a preview of a video by Seven. We're going to talk about staking. We're going to talk about our stake pool, land staking, poker tournaments, internal demos, and lots of other stuff, including leaks. But first, Josh, what are you drinking?
Thanks for asking, Rob, and that was an excellent intro. I have just a good old-fashioned coffee, man. So it's pretty early in the morning for this COPICafe episode here in the States, so I'm still getting my flow of energy.
Nice.
Rob, what are you drinking?
I'm back on the old, the chocolate milkshake.
Okay.
So, I'll try. While I try and struggle this open, so we have the new video by Seven. Shall we play that?
Yeah, let's get it up there.
Hey man, listen up. You about to know the score. I know that you don't want to lose your money, but what if you can know it's yours? Tell me why nobody trusts me. I don't really get it at all. It feels like a never-ending curse. So what if I said you could get returns every time that you step inside of the metaverse?
Well, that was a great video. I love what Seven's doing.
Yeah.
He's
full of energy. The lyrics are amazing.
Yeah, and
the guy really knows how to.
His
produce.
production quality and what he's been doing it's like leaps and bounds since the very beginning, and he improved a ton in like 1 month. It feels like from the first thing that we heard him do. I don't know, but he's incredibly talented. So it's cool to have him.
I don't know much about mixing volumes and sounds and equalizers and all that, but that sounds pretty good. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it does all that.
It's great. It's mastering. It's interesting that you bring that up. There's some fun things coming soon with Seven and what he's doing. So stay tuned, everyone.
Oh yeah, I wondered why we showed it. Very interesting. Huh. That sounds like a bit of a foreshadowing leak.
Yeah, something.
So yeah, moving on. Our next subject is staking, and in particular, Wi-Fi staking.
Yeah, so we had the stake pool that launched through Tokens Farm on the Binance chain, launched a few days ago, and we've told you that we're working on getting staking for the Cardano chain. And we're talking about staking where you show your COPI tokens and you get a reward based upon that. And we're launching another one on the Cardano chain through Wi-Fi. Steven's one of our partners over there since the very beginning. And the Wi-Fi project, we love what they're doing for the DeFi and Cardano space. So it's going to be great to work with them. And that is coming very soon. I think we're hoping that it's launched by the time this COPICafe comes out. If not, it's going to be fairly closely tied to that. I've got to talk to marketing and see if they're ready with all the answers for the community, around that program. But basically, the token amount is the same as that is on the BNB chain. So same token amount, shorter period. But we're going to we're doing a test of 1 month. So correlative to 1 month on BNB, we have that amount of tokens. But we will do a 6-month kind of program, just like with BNB. It's just we wanted to test and see how it goes first with Wi-Fi, because it's significantly different the way the setup works with Wi-Fi. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were asking about moving coins over from Binance to Cardano. So so you don't need to do that. You have staking on both chains.
Yeah, it's up to you wherever you want to keep them, and But if you do need to use the bridge, you got one on Chainport, the Chainport bridge.
Yeah, excellent. So related to kind of staking, but completely different. Let me just share my screen. We have this nice little chart which talks about the COPI stake pool.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to bring this up was just to show how consistent it's been since our launch. Just
yeah, it's great. You know what? Look, if you look at
50 epochs.
That's been incredibly consistent. And the positive that I would say about this is that we've got currently about 38, looks like 36 million, 34 million, something like that, delegated to our COPI stake pool, which is awesome. But in the very beginning, people were jumping over for COPI rewards. They're land-based and, staking based and all of the above.
Yep.
And it helped us to fill up that pool. But what I think is significant is those rewards ended a while back, and we still have a lot of delegators. So as a thank you to all of you guys that are still with us, we're going to definitely figure out a new reward for you guys that are still with us, and for those that come back as well. But to say thanks for staying with us, we're going to do a little bit more on that soon through Drip Drops, but not just yet. We're working on a lot of staking programs, so we'll keep you in the loop.
Well, on average, we're doing about 35 blocks every 5 days, which obviously pays back rewards in ADA. We can see the all-time high there is about 75 blocks, which was incredible. So it just shows that, when you stake to our stake pool, not only are you making Cardano, helping Cardano be decentralized, but you're also supporting our project, because we get some ADA ourselves for running the stake pool, but at the same time you also get rewarded from Cardano by helping to do the staking. So I mean that's
it's not like a traditional ISPO or any of that. You're getting a good rewards rate commensurate with other pools out there. So we're not charging 100% fees or whatever. It's very reasonable.
Okay, so still relating to staking, land staking. A lot of the community asks us about that.
Yeah, we have theme zones and custom domes coming very soon. Land staking program for both of those will be announcing as soon as it's ready. We're not far off. We've been working on it. And so those people that have gotten custom domes will now get a chance to get some rewards as well, which will it's exciting. We're not far off from that. So stay tuned with us on that one. All right.
Yeah, that'll be really exciting for our NFT holders. Yeah, so I just want to quickly mention a poker tournament that the Ragnarok Reptiles and the Knights Guild were hosting. I thought it was a really, really great organized poker tournament that involved 10 different Cardano based communities, and that was really fun.
Who won?
I won. I won. People keep calling me a shark. I'm not a shark. I'm a fox. Rob the Fox. But actually, it reminds me of one of the community questions, because my kind of profile picture is Rob the Fox. Everybody wants to know, who is Josh? What animal are you?
Oh, that's funny. Well, actually, that's a big question for me, man. So cool. You just, I didn't know you were going to open that one up here, but yeah, I'll be transparent. It's a big question for me because I've done all sorts of personal development type, weekend retreats and things where like once I sobered up at the age of 29, I became very interested in how to change, improve myself, how to work on who I am, how I show up in the world. I started thinking about fitness, body, mind, spirit, with my health overall. And that started to occur for me at 29 when I let go of all of my demons, so to speak, which was, just addiction related. And so for me, it's not an animal, it's a butterfly, a monarch butterfly, which represents transformation. So what I like about a butterfly is that it was once in a cocoon. You have no idea what's in there, you know, and then there's a significant transformation, and the beauty is released. So yeah, for me, it's a butterfly. It's not an animal. But I'm not going to call myself Josh the Monarch just because that sounds a little strange.
Yeah. Well, now we know. Now we know.
Yeah, I told you. You opened up a big. Opened up a big can of worms there.
Yeah, I've thrown off now. I don't know how to respond, but okay. Let's move on a little bit. Yeah, we can talk about that a bit more in the future. So at the moment, I want to talk about internal racing. So the racing game is obviously looking to be released publicly, testing in Q2.
Okay.
And we did a demo a few weeks ago with 4 players, and now testing this week is moving on.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's like every week that we get to see stuff from the team. It's incredibly inspiring and impressive, and I couldn't be more proud of what's happening. It's like we got a team that is on fire to release the best possible. I mean, this is our first main release that's coming up. And we chose to put it before Solace and some of these other things because learning, like it's an easier item to tackle for the team that lets us know how many other things are going to work for Solace and for all of these other areas. So it's actually a very smart and efficient move as well, which will position us incredibly well to plan and strategize for Solace and all of those other things. So it's exciting.
It's very, very agile way of building and testing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's the community's pretty excited. We can't wait to get it in everyone's hands. And pretty soon you're going to see Rob and I racing. So that'll happen on.
So those guys are currently testing 8 people racing in 8 different countries, which is, you know, we'll let you know next week how they got on.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
Yes, it
will be with a hosted server as well, so not a local server. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. It's moving on.
Completely agree. All right, what's next?
And speaking of moving on, let's move on to our next subject. We had a brief conversation this week about why we share content. Why are we sharing content with our community, whereas other traditional projects don't? I thought it was an interesting subject to explore.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So this is a topic that's dear to my heart based upon previous years and bull cycles in crypto and bull and bear cycles in crypto. And just from my experience with crypto in the very beginning, what I realized is the projects that were, you've got a project that likes to get all sorts of marketing hype out there that may or may not be building something, but the hype is definitely there. And then trust is shortly thereafter destroyed because there's not really a lot happening, or, you know, they run out of money, or it was a rug pull or whatever it may be. Yeah. But then there's projects that are truly building, and there's more than... There could be projects that are truly building that aren't marketing at all. You never see anything, but these guys are behind the scenes really making things happen. Well, that's not something we wanted to do either, because you don't build community that way. We wanted to be building community all along while also building out our game. So what better to do than to actually show people as much as possible without blowing the excitement of what we're doing. Because that needs to come soon too. Like the cinematic we released for the racing game and all we're saving that for the end to really build up excitement near the event. But in the meantime, we always, and this was the reason for COPICafe, we always wanted to be consistently transparent with you guys to show you what we're building as much as possible without blowing the surprise. That's been the strategy. And I think it's worked because it builds trust. It lets people know, hey, we're not here to run off. You know, there's another reason we share we're doxxed, because it's like, look, no, we're building. You know, you guys need to know that we're here to build, we're here to stay, and we're going to stick through it and show you what we're building all along. But I guess the main thing there is just saving a little bit. Like Rob and I always want to like unleash the whole bag, you know, but the reality is we have to restrain so that we can have effective marketing leading up to the actual event. What are your comments on this one, Rob?
I think, I mean, it was your strategy all along. For, you know, we want to do little leaks here and there, and I know it met some resistance because obviously we don't want to let everything out the bag. We may have competitors that are copying us, but more than anything, it's that surprise, and it's the fear that people will see our work that's not finished and think that that's the end product. But unlike traditional games, some games, you know, that take 10 years before you even see anything, and then it's either a cinematic or maybe it's just one big huge, this is what we've been building. Some games even deny the existence that they're building a game. It's only just dropped on that. But those kind of have VC funding behind them, so they are doing those updates behind doors to other people and showing them along the way. Whereas our supporters are our publics, you know. So if we were going to do that behind closed doors, well, it's in the public anyway. So we are sharing as much information as we can up front within reason, which means we are holding back 80% of what we're building. So if you think these leaks are good, you should see what we're actually holding back. But we do need to show that the progress of the project is moving on. And with Web3, you see some projects that just come out the blocks and they're straight doing NFT sales, and they haven't built that community. It's just on hype. Or you see projects, I've watched a lot of podcasts where projects are bringing on brands are getting exciting, NFT sales are going out, then NFT sales are dropping off, the brands are now scared, there's no final product, that they're all warmed up and nowhere to go. So it is that balance that tightrope that we think we have the balance, but we don't know. We don't know. We're just doing the best that we can be to be as transparent as we can and trying to balance traditional building with modern Web3 building. Yeah,
it's a great summary. I would agree completely. And, you know, to speak on the traditional gaming studio strategy of not disclosing anything until the very end, honestly, I think that's a big mistake. And that's a mistake you can afford to make if you've raised millions and millions and you're fine to sit and you know you're going to, but to not be building community around your product as you go, you're losing so much of that relational building aspect, of the trust building aspect, of growing an organic community that is empowered to inform others about what's coming in. That's another thing that's going to happen with our project is people are coming in once we start mass advertising and they don't have a clue how to get started, how to experience and all of these things. And there's a community of people that know us incredibly well that can onboard them and show them what we're doing. So, you know, I think our strategy is a good one. I feel really good about it. We always want to keep you guys in the loop, and that's what COPICafe is about.
I mean, I completely agree with you. We look at there was a recent game called New World. You know, it took years and years to develop it. When they released it, millions of players were there from day one because of the hype. And only at that point did they get feedback from players that they didn't want to go around and start being attacked by other players. And now they were quickly on the back foot, redesigning huge parts of the game. Whereas if you would have shared that along the way and had community give you that feedback, when you release the game, you wouldn't have had that massive almost shock
it's a very fear-based approach.
Yeah.
And I don't think fear ever really, you know, I guess if it's to prevent you from falling off a cliff or jumping off a cliff that's going to kill you, then obviously fear is an important thing. But in regards to you using that to make a decision on not involving community in the get-go to me, that's it's not.
It lowers the risk of the project as well, because when that game comes out, I mean, I know they're withholding stuff so competitors don't copy them, but when that game comes out, if you've built it alongside the community, you've got a better chance of it being adopted.
Much better chance. Huge strength. The Web3 way in this regard is a huge strength. But to the same token, you don't want to go too far, disclose everything, and then there's no excitement in the end, right? So we definitely are looking at a balance between the two. I'm trying to see, get a balance between the two sides. So, all right, what's next?
Yeah, moving on. Well, I think we have some public questions, some community questions, which I don't think I've shared with you, which I will do now. So the first question is from VQ Addict. Will time travel leaderboards be alive for the MVP racing game? Time trial, sorry. So will there be leaderboards for the fastest racers?
Yes.
For MVP.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of development around that will get fleshed out further as we go, but for MVP it will be a very simple leaderboard for sure.
And can we use our own vehicles, NFTs, to play on the MVP?
It's slated to be. That is correct. Yes, that's in the plans for MVP.
Yeah, we're definitely heading for that. Okay, Youngbotch 6858.
Which, by the way, let me just comment more on that. That requires a good amount of programming because you have to have an API that reads the wallet and says, okay, this asset is held, and then translates whatever that asset is into the actual in-game asset that will be utilized. So there's a good amount of work there. But yeah, next question.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why we built our new website the way we did for those plugins that people will see in the future. Okay, so Youngbotch 6858 said yesterday, what's the total number of software engineers working on the main game? It's a good question.
Well, you'd be very software engineers, so non-game, like Unreal Engine?
Probably non-back office people, so not HR, not accounting.
Oh, so he's not talking about software engineers versus game engineers. It's just
maybe not web engineer. Well, I mean, let's just give it. I'd probably have to add them all up.
Yeah,
I mean, in
I
total,
would say we've got about 15 in total ish.
Yeah, internal. Yeah, and then we have external people. Some working on the website and some other stuff. Yeah. So there's probably there's over 50 people that are working on our project. So probably about 30 plus people that are software engineers, web, UE5, artists,
but a good chunk of those
animations.
being contractors. Yeah, so there's a good amount that are employees and then a good amount that are contractors.
Yeah, good question though. Good question. I'd have to write.
But
it
yeah,
down.
I mean, we've got to have a team for the main, like the website. Just speaking real quick on everything that went into our website. It's not just a WordPress website redesign. This is a website that's entirely custom coded and set up with login and admin access and a centralized admin management console so that we can add multiple different modules, one of them being the Copious Academy, another one being a dashboard so that you could view your rewards and your NFTs and holdings and see what's going on. All of these things are in the work there, and that is a ton in and of itself. So there's a good team on that, but then we've got all the artwork that has to be done for the game, which is really somewhat deceptive because artwork for the game is also programming as well. But those that team that's making what you see inside of Solace when you're walking through it, and what you see when you see the vehicle or the racing game and things of that nature. But then we've also got the programming team that has to do with, you know, being able to work the vehicle and the physics around that, and operate things as you navigate and interact and all of those things. So there's a good amount that's there, and it's just, there's so many elements we have to execute on, that we've got varied teams in a variety of places. And that is the reason we brought on Zach, to really help and flesh out each of these individual projects with all the things that are needed, develop and plan our acceptance criteria, so that we know what is going to be on MVP and we can plan towards it effectively. But yeah, there's a good team on it. Each of these stages.
There's so much in there. You know, there's a whole NFT side of it as well. You know, designing the NFTs, what NFTs will be in the game, the strategy. There is economics, tokenomics. Myself and yourself and I, you know, we meet daily. We work heavily on different aspects of the game. You know, we don't sit and play golf all day. We are such hands-on. We're doing 10 to 12 hours a day as well. So yeah, it's a real team effort. And actually, what you've just said there, talking about Zach, leads us into the next question from Recon Monk. He says, COPICafe 1, so I think he's either new to the project, which I don't think he is. I think he might just be rewatching it. It just reminded him something that he always wanted to ask. When more Cornucopias team member interviews?
So that's something we're talking about. Actually, prior to this episode, I was messaging the team that what Rob and I need is more team support for COPICafe. So we are actually bringing the team in to have some organizational discussions to improve it. The reality is, we started it off with not a lot of marketing resource, and it was a way for Rob and I to just communicate with you guys. And the reason for what are you drinking is to make it casual, so that we don't get all buttoned up and, you know, super production heavy on creating this, you know, insanely valuable content or whatever. It's more about, hey, let's just get together real quick in a way that we can duplicate and continue to scale this. Somehow we've actually managed to keep our record of a COPICafe a week, with the exception of a few holidays and a few little glitches, but it's tough to do. And so we are bringing in a little more team in a way that will help Rob and I to improve the quality of the content for you guys, and the planning and the special guests and things like that, without us having to peel off too much pre-production time. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, look for some changes in COPICafe in the future. Always trying to improve what we're doing, but at the same time, we have to make it to where Rob and I can actually execute on a weekly basis. So,
yeah. And, you know, finally, it's leak time. So let me share my screen again.
Leaky. Give me some leaky.
What do we think of this? What is this?
Yeah. What do we think of this? Looks like the branding for Colito Valley Raceway.
Yeah, I think this is one of Mark's masterpieces. I think this is some of the designs that you will see as you go into the Megadome and walking around it, and as you enter into the raceway, and maybe it looks like the finishing podium design there. Maybe.
Yeah, I think you said the word in the word finishing there is appropriate, because this is like, these are little details that we could easily launch without it. But this is one of those things where it's like, hey, wait, if there's a real, you know, racetrack and we want to bring you this high quality experience, the finishing details really matter. And so this is a brand kit for your experience walking into the Colito Valley Raceway. It's branding and marketing for that particular track. I think the marketing team for Colito Valley is really solid. We might have people reaching out.
If you look closely as well, it's also foreshadowing some things in there. I can see a sign for shopping. I can see COPICafe. I can see an old guard lounge. Lots of other stuff. It's actually worth worth actually studying some of those details.
Little clues of things to come. Very good.
But yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone, on this episode 44 of COPICafe. I don't know what I was like as a host. Who knows? Leave your comment.
You're an excellent host.
Really?
You killed it. You knocked it out of the park.
Really?
This is great.
Well, everybody,
yeah.
like, comment, subscribe below, and we'll see you all next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.